It's time for Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore. A Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. Brought to you by Joe Lunghammer Chevrolet of Waterford. Plan your next vehicle purchase or get your credit rolling in the right direction with Regina today. And now, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. You listen to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I am Regina Eileen Woodard. Regina, a.k.a. the Queen of Car Loans. Good morning, Dr. T. What's happening?
Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. T. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Man. And we have Mr. Gill Hill, a.k.a. the police, a.k.a. president of the Pontiac School Board, a.k.a. community leader. Good morning, Gill.
Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing this morning?
I don't know. Do we need to start this show over? What we need to do here? Because I'm feeling the excitement from me and Dr. T, but I feel a little something. I can't see your face over here. I'm going to have to.
You know what? You know why? You know why?
Why?
You know why? Because I can't stop smiling. And so if I start focusing on what you saying, I got Dr. T over here. We got a guest. Y'all got me cutting up in front of a guest. First of all, I just need to make sure that I'm gonna get it from both ways. So somebody got to get
I gotta get the block right
now. Just right now.
So let me just tell y'all.
Good morning, y'all.
Y'all not in the studio this morning, right? You guys hear us because you don't see us yet, right?
Oh.
We're working on the visual part, right? But so it's this speaker that's in the way, so Gill can't see my face, right? Because I'm gonna have to move the speaker on the break. Is because how me and Dr. T, we communicate by looking at each other, right? And we do hand signals. We talk. We move. We do all that.
Pieces of paper.
Right.
We have whole sign. We have sign language.
We do all that. Right.
Y'all gonna see it. I'm gonna start dropping the BTS stuff before the video because people need to see what's going on behind these scenes.
They do.
They need to understand that.
Yes.
As clean as it sounds, it come out in the morning when y'all listening to us. It's some things that be happening. I need some visuals. We need some things to show y'all up until Saturday. So make sure y'all check us out. Go to all social media platforms. Make sure you check us out because y'all gonna need to see these behind the scenes because they be cutting up. They professionals, but they be cutting up.
But what we want you guys to do is we want to make sure you go to our Facebook page, Be in the Driver's Seat, on Facebook, and like our page. And because we do reels on there, and we got to tell Gill we need some of his reels so we can post on there. So I post about cars, and Dr. T posts about whatever she wants to talk about, right?
Yeah. So sometimes I do mental health tips, and then sometimes I'm just in the kitchen.
Right.
We'll be in the kitchen.
You see, she didn't want to say that last part, y'all.
Right.
She knew it though. She knew that last part.
And then so look out for Gill reels. His reels are going to be there, and then we're going to have. We already posted Sierra, the master baker. We posted her first reel. Yeah. And then also we're looking for Shay the glamorous rebel.
Yeah, she has two reels out. We need to get hers on our
Well, I asked her for those reels last night, but she looked at me like, I got to do them over again. I'm like, no,
did really good,
we need to have those reels.
Yes.
Then we're looking for Brenda Denise Davis. Oop, I said her full name, but Brenda Davis, the realtor that moves you. We're looking for her reel. And then Kathy Washington, our financial coach, looking for her reels.
We're looking for them. Yeah. So y'all need to get those reels into us, Gill.
We looking for them. APB out on your reel.
He would bring the police in.
All points bulletin on your reel. You know what I'm saying? We need that.
But
we don't get it.
But listen, the word for the week is thankful. Every show I'm coming to you at the beginning, give you a word surrounded around cars, but it might not be a word connected to cars, but in my mind I'm gonna give you that word and we're gonna connect it to cars and we're connected to life. So thankful. Mm-hmm. What are you thankful for? Too many times people come into the car dealership or they put an application on my website, reginathequeenofcarloans.com. You can go to 24 hours a day, have my inventory on there, put an application in, and guess what? You'll get either pre-approved or denied. But if you get denied, I still got you, right? Because I offer the credit repair. So listen, thankful. Too many times I have people call me on the phone, I get them pre-approved, they come into the car dealership, and they come in and they want this car. I'm going to give you an example. Maybe they come in and they want that Blazer, and they never financed a car before, right? And they have some credit issues because, I deal with good credit, bad credit, no credit, bankruptcy, right? And no credit. But they come in wanting a Blazer. Maybe I got to send them off in the used Blazer, or the used Malibu, or the used, or something pre-owned, used, right? Mm-hmm. But they're not thankful that they got approved. Oh no, I got to have this. I got to have that. It's like, are you being thankful that you have an approval, that you have a pre-approval?
Yeah, that's good.
What are you thankful today for? Be thankful that you got approved, because you got to start from A to B to get to that car that you want. I'm going to give you an example. And Dr. T, I want to know what you're thankful for, right? Yeah. So let me just give you my surrounded around cars. I remember it probably was maybe my 5th or 6th car, and I wanted to get a Range Rover. Mm-hmm. And went to the dealership, and they said no. I was like, why? And I'm in the car business. Mm-hmm. I knew why, but I was stepping out something I never got approved for. $80,000 car, $70,000 car, no vehicle, no, never, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what I had to do is, in which I already knew this, I needed to get, he said, Regina, I can get you approved for that BMW, that 525. Mm-hmm. So you need to take those little baby steps. And I knew that, but I had to be told that, because back in the day, I wasn't the queen. I was developing to be the queen.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I'm thankful for life today, Regina, just life in general, being able to inhale and exhale, right? I've just been watching in the news, a lot of young people have just been it's dying at an alarming rate. And so today, I'm just thankful for life. Thankful for being able to be in the studio. Thankful that my eyes are open and my body is here.
So, Gill, what are you thankful for?
Time right now.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for right now, like this very moment.
Amen.
Right now. It's been what, 2 years, 2.5 years. COVID hit. It devastated the country. It devastated the world. It affected everything, right? But what it did and what it showed me was the power, the true power of God, where he can stop the world. Like, where he can literally stop the world. And for me, it stopped me in my tracks. I was in my condo at the time, COVID, and I had to make a decision, which I've known that some people have had to make this decision. You at that point where you feel like your breath is just gone, you got to catch it. And I remember specifically speaking out loud, God is not done with me. My body needs to listen to what God has for me.
Amen.
And I remember taking the small breaths and getting out of it. And when I came out of that, I'm just grateful for the time of right now. We will never have another, what time is it right now?
Saturday.
9:41.
Well, it's
you'll never. It's Saturday.
8:41.
8:41.
Yeah, right.
Listen, that's them flights for me. I'm sorry, y'all. Pardon me. You will never have this time right now. You will never ever have this same time again. So I'm thankful for the right now.
Amen.
Well, I love that everybody's thankful. So if anything, during this segment or the whole show, we want to just make sure that you have your pencil, your paper ready. Have your pencil, have your paper ready, because, today is going to be a special day for you, Saturday. And we want you to take notes every show. But being thankful, what are you thankful for? Write that down. Let that be your word of the day, the word of the week. Too many times we go back and we think about what our goals that we didn't meet, the things we wish we had done, right? Be thankful for right now. Be thankful for the time that you have right now, because you don't know the hour, the time, the place. God is going to call you home, right? So my whole outlook is, not even with being in a car business, I mean, I'm thankful for breathing. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for the time last weekend that I got to spend with my family. Amen. You know, and I got the chance to get on a plane, fly to Tampa, fly to Mulberry, see my family on both sides of my side, my mother and my father. So I'm thankful for my family, for my immediate family. I mean, because my immediate family are my brothers. But I always tell people here that are in my circle close to me now, they're my Michigan family. They're my everything, right? Because they keep me in place, you know. Dr. T keeps me in place, you know. People think like, okay, can they keep the queen in place? Well, yeah. I got people that call me, that check me. You know, I got Nicole Anderson and Daryl. They, you know, it's like, okay, what? Nah, that ain't right. I'll do something, and Nicole Anderson say, player, that's not gonna work for you. You know, it might even be something I have on. She's like, what's wrong with that? You know, or just something I may say or how I feel. You know, and you got to have those conversations, right? And now that Gill is part of our life, you know, always been a part, right? But a part of our immediate family, right? That who do you have in your life that you're thankful for?
That's good. That's good. Personally, me, I'm thankful for Sierra and Fred. Like, they're my strength, my backbone. Outside of the Lord first, then the priest, which is Fred, and then my daughter. Thankful.
So what are you thankful for? Gill? We always got to feel safe around Gill, right?
God has given me the ability to be a husband again.
Oh, amen.
You know, sometimes we don't get it right. Like I wasn't born into this thing of just wanting to know what manhood is, right? Like some of those, like a lot of others. But for the most part, I always wanted to be a husband because that was my grandfather. And so just having God giving me that ability to have a fiance, wedding date on April 29th. But
Shout out April 29th.
You know, have a wife, right? A partner.
That's right.
The higher you go, the thinner the air. So you need some people to be there. You need somebody that's going to be in them trenches with you when you, again, I talked about it last week, those ugly tears. So, yeah, for some.
So that's good. That's good. That's good. I think we find out more. We're going to find out more and more about Gill every show. Yeah. You know, you listen, because we want you guys to get to know Gill. Because you're not getting the police side on the show. You're getting the other side of him. You're going to hear his story. He's going to bring things to you that happened to his life.
Yeah, we get to hear his heart.
Yeah, and then that's exactly. So, but we got to go ahead and get in. We got about 30 seconds, right, Dr. T?
Yeah.
Who do we got we're going to come back and talk to? What is your points to ponder?
Listen, I'm so excited today. So I got my sister in Christ and my friend, Kristen Taylor, in the house. She is the owner of It's Time Counseling. So I want y'all to get ready. Pull your pencil and your paper out because we got some tools that you can use.
Tools that you can use. We'll be right back because Joe Longhammer just sent me a text. He said, hey, it's time to play our commercial. We'll be right back.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals do you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
If they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
When you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Looking to buy or sell your home? Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or another country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda D. Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate is your locally known home purchase expert. Buying or selling your home is a complex process. Let Brenda simplify it every step of the way. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Call 248-909-9711 and get moving on your new home purchase or sale today. That's 248-909-9711. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
You are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and we have Kristen Taylor in the house, so I'm so excited. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning.
So listen, everybody, get your pencils and your paper out. We have Kristen Taylor that's in the house. She is the owner of It's Time Counseling. It's Time Counseling. And as I was reading your bio, one of the things you said is that you help women process life experiences. And you also said you help them to heal from these experiences and grow into the women that they desire to be or want to be. So I'm excited about hearing more about that. But one of the things that really caught my attention is you said that people are attracted to your brand unlike anyone else's because, number one, you are a Christian and a woman of color. And number two, a holistic mental health care with a caring and down-to-earth demeanor. So you are a holistic health care counselor.
Yes.
I'm so excited about that. So let's dive right into that, right? So I was, even as I was talking to Regina and Gill, I said I'm excited to talk about this and how you view holistic healing as a versus medication, right? So let's kind of talk about that. So let's get in it.
I guess I got to give y'all a little bit of background about myself. So
I was just gonna say that. Who are you? You're from Pontiac, but
I'm from Pontiac,
I don't even know who.
Jacktown,
The first time I've seen you ever. And you're tall, and she's tall like the queen.
Yes,
she's tall.
yes,
So kudos to you.
Yes. I stay out the way. I born and raised in Pontiac. I did my undergrad in biology and psychology with a concentration in pre-med. And I got to my last class, it was organic chem 2. And I called my mother and I was in crisis at that time. It was like, Ma, I can't do this. And she was like, drop the class, Kristen, just drop the class. And I'm like, oh, you know how you feel like this is what I've been working towards and I'm so close to being done. But it's like God was like, no, you don't want that. That's not what you feel like you're called to do. Don't do it. Talking about how, we try to fit into what everybody else wants us to be. And that was a moment when I realized I can't do what everybody else wants me to do. I have to do what is going to make me happy and what God has called me to do. And I totally switched. That's how I ended up with a double major, biology and psychology, because I ended up going back and getting a whole nother degree in psychology. And then by my master's program, I knew counseling. That's it. I'm not doing nothing else. So part of the reason why I've come into this holistic healing is because learning about medicine and the systems of the body and how physicians normally treat everyday ailments, I didn't want to have to wait until you were in full pathology for me to deal with you. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be able to help you before you get there. I wanted to be more preventative. So even in mental health, a lot of things that we're dealing with, a medical doctor is not trained in dietary or nutritional changes that you can do to change your mental health. They're not trained in supplements that you can take to change your mental health. They're trained in pathology and they're trained in treating symptoms, not getting to the root of them. So that was one thing that was really important to me, even personally dealing with my struggles in mental health, learning to not just go to the doctor.
So let's talk about that. You said that the doctors are not really trained in getting to the root of the problem, right? Because they're there to treat symptoms. So let's kind of talk about getting to the root of the problem. So when you have individuals that come to you that are suffering with anxiety and depression, and from a holistic view, let's kind of talk about what that looks like.
So, like I said, I am a Christian. So even if my clients are not Christian based, I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to ask you about your childhood. I'm going to ask you about your spiritual life. I'm going to ask you about how you eat. I'm going to ask you about exercise. I'm going to ask you about your family's medical and mental health history, because, you know, you often hear that word, oh, it runs in my family. It doesn't run in your family.
You say it does or it doesn't?
People say that. Oh, you know, high blood pressure runs in my family, or depression runs in my family. You know what actually runs in your family? The same type of lifestyle and the same type of eating habits.
That's good.
That's what runs in your family.
That's true.
That's good.
So when you start to change things, change your eating habits, change your lifestyle, you will see changes in your mental health. You know, depression affects more than 17 million people in the United States. Mm-hmm. That's 2022 statistics. I'm sure they'll be higher next year due to COVID, we're literally in a mental health crisis right now around the world.
I wanted to jump back in real quick because you brought up a subject that most people, when they talk about things and talk about generational things, you say that this runs in my family or that runs in my family. And I'm glad you addressed that. But I do want to say that we do not have to conform to what has happened in our family. Yep. We get to choose how the direction we are going in. So when you talk about holistic healing, I'm thinking more so in terms of people who really want to organically get better, not just treat a symptom. Mm-hmm. Because one thing I've learned is that if you give a med for a symptom, you're going to have to keep taking the med, and then we adapt to the mindset of what the med is supposed to do. Like, for instance, if someone says you have depression, so now once you take on the ownership of having depression, now you're depressed. Mm-hmm. Because your mind is lining up with that, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're using some holistic treatment, and one of the things you said, you are a Christian, so do you incorporate the Bible into your sessions?
When it's appropriate. Okay. Some of my clients don't believe. So, you know, it might come out in just, you know, a little term or a little phrase here or there. It may not be scriptures. Some clients, I literally will quote a scripture in a minute, and they be like, yes, you're right, Kristen. You're right.
Well, here's the thing, though. So you said some of your clients may not be Christians. That's fine. But I smuggle Jesus in everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So regardless if you're a Christian or not, if he never leaves me, he's coming where I'm at. So how does that, you know, you having a relationship with God, how does that help you in this process of being a helper and also being an effective agent of change?
Well, I start with prayer every session.
Whoa, you start with prayer every session?
For myself.
Okay.
Because I need to be prepared for whatever energies, demons are coming with this client. Because mental health is also spiritual. It's not just your body. It's not just your mind. It's a spiritual thing as well. So, I mean, I always pray before I start a session to make sure I'm out of the way and I allow him to minister through me. So, you know, clients, they know my stance. But I am careful not to push that on them, but they always know, like, it's going to be some points where I might say something that you might not agree with, but you're going to hear it.
But you know what? I just got a text from Joe. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, service manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. find new roads.
My name is Marilyn Walker, and I am your advocate attorney. For over 25 years, I've helped your friends and neighbors by providing solid legal advice and strategy during difficult times. My clients will tell you that I am experienced, knowledgeable, caring, and reasonable. If divorce, custody, support, or visitation are critical issues facing you, stop worrying and call me, Marilyn Walker, the advocate attorney, at 248-332-2227. Allow a skillful lawyer to advocate for you. Looking to buy or sell your home? Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or another country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda D. Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate is your locally known home purchase expert. Buying or selling your home is a complex process. Let Brenda simplify it every step of the way. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Call 248-909-9711 and get moving on your new home purchase or sale today. That's 248-909-9711. Call now.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
You are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and we have Kristen Taylor, the owner of It's Time Counseling. And Kristen, when we left, we were talking about smuggling Jesus in and how you incorporate your beliefs into therapy or not, right? So let's get into it again. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you see that are effective using the holistic approach.
Some of the things that I see that are effective using the holistic approach, like I said, looking into everything that has to do with this client. Depending on what they're coming in for, I often suggest supplements to help them, just help their body, give them what they need. Most mental health, physical health ailments that we deal with are based or coming from our nutritional health, and that all is found in our gut. So sometimes I'll even have to ask a client about how they feel after they eat. Mm-hmm. Things like that affect our mental health and our physical health, because if you are not, if after you eat you have a lot of indigestion, something's not right. And that not rightness is going to transfer into your everyday life and things that you deal with. So, that's a big thing for me. How are you eating? How are you digesting? Certain things do you eat, do you have an issue with? Because a lot of things can also be tied to intolerances.
That's good.
Man, listen, we touched on a few things, but I want to not take you back, but two things. When you said smuggling Jesus, because we need our listeners to understand that that is a very huge component in life in general. So can you take us to the point of where you actually, when a client walks, when they contact you, what do you do as a professional to now begin to engage them into your workflow? Like, how do you do that as a believer, but then as a profession, as a doctor? How do you begin to get them into your workflow from the minute they contact you?
Well, the first contact is usually, an email or something like that from them. But then I often reach out through text message because, we don't answer our phones if we don't know the number. So, the next thing I do is I'm sending a text message letting them know who I am, how I roll. But the biggest key to pulling them in is that initial consultation. I do those, via telehealth usually, so they can see me, so we can see each other, not just over the phone. And in that time, I explain who I am. I explain how I work. Usually it's pretty organic how it comes out, who I am and what I believe in and those different types of things.
So is there another part in there where you begin to say, do you begin to pray and say, hey, listen, God, this client has come to me. Do you have a certain vision for them, for that specific client? Because when you're saying holistic, like it sounds to me, it's an individual process. Like you individually taking them through that. So what is your tap into that? As you get that information, how do you begin to pray for that person? And then is there certain things that come to you at that point to give you some kind of revelation to help with the therapy before you start the session?
It depends on the client. Like you said, everything is holistic. More so for me, it's about my spirit being right when I come in to talk to a client, because if I'm not right, I can't give them the right stuff. So it's for me.
Amen on that.
I got to make sure I'm in the right place, make sure my biases aren't going to interfere with therapy, make sure my shortcomings or downfalls aren't coming into therapy, make sure the things that I'm anxious about aren't pouring over into my client. So I start with me. As I develop more of a relationship with my clients, I got some clients I pray for. I send text messages to. I say, hey, girl, what you doing? I ain't talked to you in a minute. Where you at? Let's go. We need to talk. Like, this is not good. I guess you must be doing great then, because I ain't heard from you. But, even clients that they're doing good, and then they start falling off. Yeah. Well, when the last time you prayed? Yeah. Have you meditated and listened to what he's saying? Or are you just going through your day? So it depends on the client, but absolutely I pray for my clients.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said, you talked about that, starting with the person in the mirror. I Michael Jackson had a song, right? So I always start with me. Why? Because like you said, if I'm not in a good space, how can I maneuver the client or help be a catalyst to get them where I need them to be? And one of the biggest things that I do is I have to be still. Because if you're constantly moving, you can't hear from God. And if you can't hear from God, how can you help somebody else? Absolutely. So as for me, I get direction. I need Holy Spirit. I need direction. So in order for me to be an effective tool, I have to surrender and submit to the Father. Absolutely. So that I can be helpful. So I'm glad you said that. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was the holistic approach with children. Since COVID, Gill mentioned, and since COVID came on the scene in 2020, a lot of people have suffered with anxiety. And I see that the children are suffering. How do you help? Because I have a lot of children I see, right? So how does the holistic approach help the children?
Oh, it definitely does. First of all, anytime you're dealing with children, the parents have to be on board. Their support system have to be on board. In that first intake session, of course, their parent is there. They're walking me through the symptoms and signs that their child is dealing with. But with them, a lot of times it's a lot of talk therapy, play therapy. We're just doing normal kid stuff. And we're integrating, that talk therapy and finding out what's really going on. With COVID, a lot of kids are dealing with social anxiety. Yes. They're dealing with, anxieties around getting sick or bringing sickness home to their parents or grandparents. Being at home for 2 years, kids they don't know how to interact with each other because they were at home. A lot of the socialization that happens in schools hasn't happened. So one of the things that I always encourage my clients to try, especially if their child is dealing with panic attacks along with that anxiety, is, supplements like ashwagandha. Yes, things that naturally bring you down.
Yeah. So you know what, Kristen, tell the listeners, how can they get in contact with you?
Oh, you can get in contact with me. I'm on Psychology Today, or you can go to my Instagram, It's Time Counseling, or you can find me on Facebook, Kristen.Thompson5, or you can just search It's Time Counseling and Life Coach Services. I am based out of Troy, but you can find me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm so excited that you joined us today on the Therapist Corner. Listen, I love the holistic approach that you're using. So if anyone is looking for a holistic Christian therapist, you guys need to contact Kristen.
Yes. Come see me.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals do you have right now, Regina?
This It's tax season. I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Are you sinking farther and further in debt? Tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Facing garnishment, repossession, or foreclosure? Thinking of filing bankruptcy but still have questions? Call Lewis Law at 248-785-3780. Attorney Lewis has over 20 years of experience handling Chapter 7 and 13 bankruptcies. The bankruptcy code is complicated, and you need an experienced attorney to guide you through the process. We can take care of your bankruptcy and probate needs. Call Lewis and Law, 248-785-3780. We are a debt relief agency. We can help people file for bankruptcy under U.S. Bankruptcy Code. Paid non-attorney spokesperson.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, service manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
You are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, where we have in the studio Kristen Taylor, who is the owner of It Is Time Counseling. So, Kristen, let's just dive a little deeper into who you are. You told the listeners a little bit, but let's go a little deeper today. Tell us a little bit about who Kristen Taylor really is.
Oh, Kristen Taylor. Okay. So, Kristen Taylor is a healed person now, but Kristen Taylor been through some stuff. Kristen Taylor, I am a person that has lived through 3 open heart surgeries. First one at 16. Married my middle school sweetheart.
Whoa. You said 3 open heart
3.
surgeries.
Survivor.
God.
Yes.
Lord.
He took care of me.
Amen.
And this is actually Heart Healthy Month.
Amen. Lord.
Yes.
3
open heart surgeries. I was born with the genetic disease called Marfan's, and it affects all my joints. So heart joints, all ligaments, my eyes, my joints, my heart, my everything. In my case, the biggest thing was my heart. So yes, 3 open heart surgeries, have had valves replaced, all types of things replaced to keep me alive.
So how you doing? How you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
But you look great. How's your health?
My health is great. Actually, I was able to get off of all of my medications through working on holistic healing for myself. I also have an autoimmune disorder, 2, that both cause joint pain. I have arthritis. I have different food sensitivities. So when I talk about holistic healing, I'm talking about what I've been through.
Wow.
I tell my clients all the time, I'm not telling you what I read in a book. I'm telling you what I know.
What you've been through.
I'm telling you what I've been through, whether that's spiritual, whether that's physical. I'm telling you what I've been through. I'm not just telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know to be true and what I know to heal. I'm a mother to 2 beautiful children. I was a pastor's wife. My first husband, we had a church together. Went through that divorce, went into depression, lost everything. Had to start from scratch with 2 little people, a 5-year-old and a 3-month-old at the time. Then, went through that. Started my life over. God blessed me to work with a job to work at my daughter's school when right after my divorce, and that opened the door for me. That got me where I needed to be to make sure I was able to be there for my family, but also helping the community.
Wow.
Okay, I know y'all.
Here we go. The alarm is coming.
When you are sitting next to a miracle, sometimes you can be blessed just by sitting next to a miracle.
Amen.
So I know the rest of my day what it's going to look like for the rest of this beautiful Saturday that we're enjoying right now. you packed a lot in there, but I want to get a little bit more specific. You said 3 open heart surgeries. You have physical, had to actually basically go through some physical therapy. You had to re-engage your mental. So people, when you're listening and you're listening to Doc, understand that you could be used too.
Amen.
So when did you understand early on holistically in your holistic approach that you were going to be used and this is why? Like, when did you say, hey, this it? Like, I know this is for me.
You know what? One of the hardest moments of my life, losing my mama. In 2019, my mother passed away. And that is when I knew what my calling was. That's when I knew what God wanted me to do. Because I went through that grief. You know, grief is hard.
Grief is hard.
Grief is hard. Grief can take you out if you don't have the right people around you and you don't have the right faith. Yeah. You know, I'm up here about to cry. Here we go. That is a lot in the studio. That is when I knew my calling. When I made it through that and I was able to actually, you know, celebrate my mother again and not cry and not be depressed and not want to celebrate what life is given, God has given me, that's when I knew this is what you're supposed to do.
You know what? I just had to tap in, you know, and Regina knows this, but, you know, January is a difficult month for me.
Same.
Because my mother actually died on my birthday. And then, you know, she didn't come off life support until a few days later. But just knowing that you can celebrate your mom now. Yes. I just celebrated my mom in a great way as I laid on the beach. So, you know, grief is real.
It is.
And you cannot put a Band-Aid on grief. You have to allow yourself to go through the process. And so I talk about it often here. You know, feel, deal, heal, right? Ooh. So I just wanted to say, you know, kudos to you. And I thank God for the God that's in you. Okay.
Yeah. You know, but it's so great when you can have a show and it's organic and that you can feel, deal, and heal. So if you ain't getting nothing out of this show, you gonna feel, you gonna deal, Amen. And by the time you done with this show, you gonna be on your way to healing. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
And let's not confuse it, because healing is continual, right?
Yes, thank you, Dr. T.
The Bible said, as they went, they were healed. Yes. So as you go, you are healed.
Mm-hmm. You got to do something. Ooh. Even in depression, you got to do something. You can't just sit there and be depressed. Like the man at the well. God said, not the woman at the well, the man at the pool.
Yeah.
He said, get up. Get up.
Yes.
He wanted him to participate.
Right. I just can't bring you back. You gotta do. You can't just lay there.
So check this out. Oftentimes we lay in our mess because we're waiting for somebody to give us a hand when God has equipped us with the tools that we need to get up. Yes. So all it needs, and you got to have the mindset that I'm tired of laying here. Yeah. And when you get tired of being somewhere long enough, you gonna get up.
As they say, when your tide is tired.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you being vulnerable today and really letting listeners understand and hearing your heart, because so many times in our community, we often hit them with the name it, claim it. We often hit them, make them feel good, and we can shout and we can dance and we can make our way to church every day of the week. The devil ain't got a problem with you going to churches. If you imply what you get out of it becomes the problem. Mm-hmm. And so you definitely have some stories to tell. You definitely have a testimony, and I want to just say thank you for, opening up and being vulnerable about that piece. You have doctors out there who would say holistically, oh, well, they don't really know what it really means, for, prescribing certain medications, or holistic versus, the traditional way with pharmaceuticals and things, because pharmacy is a, big business. Mm-hmm. So can you share that part where going into natural, saying, hey, versus medication, because obviously you've had to take some prescriptions, but you say, okay, holistically, this is what I know that helped me holistically. Mm-hmm. Can you share when you identify with this natural remedies is where I want to be and push my clients to be?
When right Right around time COVID hit is when I really realized, like, oh, this ain't it. Like, I need to do something different. You know, I was taking injections for my autoimmune stuff. You know, in the community, they always want to put our young women on birth control. That was messing me up. So at that point, I was trying everything else. Okay, I'm going to take this medicine. I'm going to take this medicine. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then it was like you had to take another medicine to counteract this side effect of this medicine and then that medicine. So then I finally was like, well, let me see. What is the common denominator of everything that I'm dealing with? And that is when, you know, I got rid of birth control. I got off of some different medications that I was on. One was my heart medication. I was like, listen, I'm working out 3 or 4 days a week. My heart rate is just fine. Do I need to stay on this? And my doctor was like, well, no, you don't have to.
What?
You're good.
But, you know, that just brings you to the point when doctors put you on medicine and they continue to give the medicine and you don't need it. Because you know what? Some of them are getting that little kickback.
All of
and
them.
they're getting, okay, thank you. All of them are getting that kickback and they want you to continue to take that drug because they are getting that kickback. And they figure, okay, we just going to keep on and we just going to do this because you know what we do? We listen to the doctor. Yep. We listen to the doctor before we listen to God.
Yep, that's real. Sure will.
That's real.
Is that real?
That's real.
And see, that's not negating the fact that the Lord does anoint doctors, therapists, and put them in their respective places. But sometimes we take the word of the doctor, and it goes back to what I said earlier, when we begin to grab hold to the diagnosis before we even ask God. Because if a doctor tell me today, you got this, I said that the devil is a liar, and I'll talk to the Lord. Because once you say, I got it, you're already agreeing with it. So, good job.
Dr.
Good job
T.
with you. Good job with you, Dr.
T.
T. Points to ponder.
Listen, ma'am. Let's just be frank. So there's listeners like myself. When I first started, I was like, I ain't going no therapist. Like because as a kid, the first thing they do, they try to put me on some Ritalin. I got the fake and the funk about how I was taking it. I wasn't taking it. I learned to be a good chameleon at 6 years old. And they just. But it was just that folks didn't understand what my gifting was, and a lot of times that's what happens in our community. So when you talk about therapy now, because now is the buzzword. Like I tell you right now, I think they about to sell out. We need more therapists now because they about to sell out on it. When you have an organization or people come to you to partner, how do you talk to them about what you bring to the table versus traditionally what they've always done? Because the approach that you're taking now, you're healing from within. You're looking at you have a system on how you look at the symptoms, versus traditionally somebody would just have a cookie cutter sheet. This is what they are. This pill goes with that. This timeline, the monitor that goes with this. You have more of a natural approach to that. Mm-hmm. So when you're partnering in the community with organizations, because it's overfilled, it's overcapacity now. Everybody needs a therapist. How do you separate yourself from the conversation of traditional, and I mean traditional in the sense of they've always been doing it that way and it don't necessarily work, to what you're doing and is having that positive effect on the clients that you serve?
I mean, well, y'all can see me. Our listeners can't see me. When you look at me, you know I'm offering something different. I'm not just going to go along with what is normal or what you think is supposed to happen. You can go to a different therapist, but it's not going to be me.
Absolutely.
You're not going to have my story. You're not going to have my passion that comes from within and comes from God. You're not going to have that with anybody else. So when I do partner with people, they already kind of know, just looking at me. I'm different.
What about the other professionals in your organization, like other therapists? How do you talk to them? How do you explain when y'all having y'all power? We all have our power. As police officers, we have powwow meetings. As school board people, we all have our own industries, right? When you're talking to your other counterparts and they're having difficulties in trying to explain certain things or getting over, how do you separate yourself? How do you tell them? How do you give them you? Yeah, you are different, but how do you give them you? How do you talk to your other counterparts, your other therapists who may be in social groups with you, forums or whatever? How do you separate what you're doing versus what they're doing?
You know, I really don't have to do that too often.
Okay.
I'm being honest.
No, go ahead. No.
Because, well, as far as my private practice, I don't have anybody that I have to.
It's just you?
It's me.
Okay.
Now, in the group practice that I work with, we all have our different things that we bring to the table. And the group practice that I work in is very good at highlighting everybody's niche.
Awesome. Okay.
So I don't really have to do that.
Okay.
You know what's that scripture? Your gift will make room for you. I usually don't have to sell myself.
Awesome.
It's because the client that's looking for me is looking for me.
But Gill, I do want to say, when you collaborate with other therapists, that's letting the world know that, you know what, I'm not in competition with you. I'm here to work with you, to elevate you. And so that's what Points to Ponder is. We bring somebody on us every month. I bring other therapists on. I'm not intimidated. I'm here to help elevate. So thank you so much for joining us.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back finishing up Points to Ponder.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
So, this show is almost over, and the Queen had to get her last question in because, I got two hogs I shared the show with now. Two hogs, two people that love to talk. I just got to sit back and get in where I fit in, because today's show, Points to Ponder, is a segment, but we decided to go ahead and take it to 45 minutes today, and we love that because we're glad that you had your note, your pad, your pencil, your notepad, your pencil, your paper, same thing, out. But last question to you is I'll make a comment, and then I want you to just talk a little bit about it. So I listened to you in the early part of the interview where you said in college, you changed your major, you did some different things, and I said to you on the break is you found your niche. You didn't know what your niche was, but you made that decision, right? That decision to do what? To change your major. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So I made the decision, changed my major, but that wasn't it. Like I was explaining to Regina,
I'm Regina.
I didn't. I didn't know that was where the path I was on. Even after I graduated, I didn't go straight into therapy. I started working at a school. I worked in education until 2023. I just recently stepped out and said, you know what? I'm done. I'm about to do what I'm supposed to do, not just what's easy and comes easy to me.
Well, say that again.
I'm about to do what I'm supposed to do.
Ooh.
Not just what's easy and comes easy to me.
But don't you find a lot of people, they do what's easy for them?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's comfortable?
Yep.
And they don't want to do anything different?
Don't. Yeah. I mean, I had a cushy job. I was working at a school, achievement and behavior support specialist, doing mental health. Was off when my kids were off. It was perfect, But it was getting to a point where I felt unpurposeful. I felt like I was just getting a check. And I had to say, hey, girl, it's time. God kept nudging. No, but God, I'm comfortable. I don't want to have to worry about, not having enough money. And I don't want to have to worry about having to find a babysitter for my kids when they're out of school. And everything that I worried about, God has worked out because I'm doing what he told me to do.
So being told what you wanted to do, in other words, all your work ever since college is what God told you to do. And he developed you into who you are in today. Is that right?
Yeah. Everything that I went through, every experience, every job that I had, every child that I talked to, every parent that I had to support, every staff member that I had to talk off the ledge, every suicide risk assessment, every threat assessment, every time I had to talk myself off the ledge. All of those experiences brought me here and they built me.
So one last question I'm going to throw in here. So if you look at yourself and you look at other therapists, right? Okay, we know what you do, what makes you different. But in your mind and your head, because I was listening to you talking, because what I do in the beginning when Dr. T has a guest come in, I listen to your conversation. I'm acting like I'm doing something else, but I'm listening to you and trying to see who you are, right? And you said you were a brand. Why do you think you're a brand? I mean, I know you're a brand. I got it by this conversation now, right? But in the beginning, I was like, well, why does she think she's a brand? You know what I mean? Because you're a therapist. It's other therapists around. What makes you a brand?
Well, first of all, I'm educated. I'm a black woman. But we got other people that are black women, and we got other people educated. I need you to dig into that real quick. Listen, I'm unapologetically black. I'm unapologetically Christian.
I like it.
I'm unapologetically, let's find a different way to heal you.
I love it.
I wholeheartedly say, yes, go to the doctor, get checked out. But guess what? We're going to find another way to heal you besides you taking a pharmaceutical. So that is where I stand. Yes, you can get the test. They can tell you X, Y, Z, but we're going to figure out another way where you're not tied to the perpetual system that continues to keep people sick. That's where I'm different.
So how did you change that far as people knowing that they're different, right? By you being different by not wanting to put people on drugs. Wouldn't that be hard? Telling people, isn't that just easy for people just to write a script?
It is, but in order to get something different, you got to do something different.
That's good.
Ooh, Dr. I need you to come in on this one because I'm kind of like, I'm kind of...
Insanity.
It's getting hot in here. It's time to go.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So if you want something different, you got to do something different. And that's good.
If they say to me,
it's been pressure
today. If I got a client that says to me, I've been dealing with depression for 10, 15, 20 years, are you ready to do something different? Because that's not working, right?
That's chronic depression.
That's not working.
Yeah.
So if you've tried all of these things and you're still in this place, it's about time to give something else a try. Let's do this.
One day at a time,
Pressure.
One step at a time.
Pressure.
It can be done.
Absolutely.
So, Gill, I see you got something. We got a few more minutes left. I see you got something to say. You always have something to say.
Go
ahead and get it out.
Man, I'm never short on anything to say, but today has just been simply amazing and just selfishly speaking this Saturday morning, a blessing for me. Like to hear how open God has used you through time. You had 3 open heart surgeries. There's people who don't make it through one. You have a disease that at any given moment can shut you down, but yet he's kept you.
Amen.
How many people you've blessed because you continue to keep going and persevere. How many doors you've knocked down. How many walls you decided that I'm going to go over and through instead of turning around and going back. Like, it is amazing how you set an example to so many of our listeners and just to me, myself, and the team, that you can do what you need to do. You just have to be a willing vessel. Yeah. God can use you. God can do amazing things, but you have to want to be used. You have to want to be okay and get comfortable. You had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So thank you for trusting your process, because through that, so many other people have been blessed.
That is so true. So, Kristen, do you have any last words from you? And also give the listeners your information if they want to contact you again. So, any last words?
Last words. Never be afraid to change. No matter where you are, how much time you put in, how much work you think you put in, never be afraid to change when God tells you to move. Because he will always provide, no matter what. He will always provide if you are obedient to what he tells you. You can find me at www.itstimecounseling.com. That is the quickest way to find me, www.itstimecounseling.com.
Wow. So you all heard it here today. We had Kristen Taylor in the house. I'm telling you, this has been a phenomenal session. We have totally enjoyed you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Gill and Regina, I think we done it again.
We got another one.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So audience, this is only his second show with us. You know, he just fits right in like he's been here all along. We love Gill, but you know he is funny.
Listen, if y'all ain't got no older sisters like this, then your sisters don't love you.
I don't like the way you put that DER on it. That older.
I mean,
you know, I'm just gonna call Popos. Okay.
Well, y'all more seasoned.
Okay, all right,
You know
Popo.
what I'm saying? I don't have to.
See, I said I wasn't gonna call them
guys
Popos,
don't
right?
understand. We need covering. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about you need sisters who gonna look out for you, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm the police. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody I'm gonna go get my big sister. And I can say that with these two right here.
Shout out to all the big sisters.
Shout out to all the big sisters out there with little brothers like me.
Listen, this has been a great show. I'm so excited, y'all. So happy Saturday, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Enjoy.
All right. See y'all next week. Same time, same place, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m.
Have a good week.
You've been listening to Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore.
Brought to you by Joe Longhammer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Be in the Driver's Seat, a Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. From Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore, thank you for listening.